You might have been told that losing belly fat is all about eating less and exercising more, but the truth is it's often much deeper than that. Your body isn't just a machine where calories in versus calories out is the whole story. There's a hormonal side to this, and insulin plays a bigger role than most people realize. When insulin levels get out of balance, your metabolism can get stuck in fat storage mode, and no matter how much you try dieting or doing crunches, the stubborn belly fat refuses to budge. What if I told you there's a hidden trick in how your body handles insulin that can help shift this? It's not about fancy diets, extreme fasting, or cutting carbs to zero. It's about understanding how your body responds to insulin and taking simple, targeted steps that restore insulin sensitivity. When insulin is working correctly, your body can move from storing fat to actually burning it for energy, and that's when belly fat starts to melt more efficiently. The key is learning how to support your body in regulating insulin naturally. It involves understanding how different foods, lifestyle habits, and even sleep patterns affect your insulin levels. Small, consistent changes can reset your system and give your metabolism the boost it needs to start burning fat rather than holding onto it. You might notice your energy stabilizing, cravings diminishing, and your body gradually shifting into a fat, burning state. This isn't a quick fix or a gimmick, it's about giving your body what it needs to function properly again. So, think about your own experience. Have you ever struggled with belly fat that just wouldn't go away, no matter how hard you tried? Many people feel frustrated, but the good news is, understanding this hidden insulin factor can completely change the way your body handles fat. Insulin is a hormone that most people only think about when it comes to diabetes, but it actually plays a huge role in fat storage and metabolism. Its main job is to help move sugar from your blood into your cells so your body can use it for energy. When everything is working properly, insulin rises after a meal, helps your cells take in glucose, and then comes back down, signaling your body that energy is being used efficiently. But when insulin starts staying elevated, your body begins to struggle, and this is what we call insulin resistance. Think of insulin as a key and your cells as doors. Normally, the key fits perfectly, and glucose can enter the cell easily. But with insulin resistance, the locks get rusty. The key still fits, but not as well, and your cells don't absorb glucose efficiently. Because your cells aren't taking in the sugar, your pancreas keeps pumping out more insulin to try to get the job done. This creates a cycle where your blood sugar may look normal for a while, but insulin levels stay high all the time, and your body's metabolism starts to change. High insulin levels send a very clear signal to your body: store fat. Your body thinks it should hold onto energy rather than release it, which is why belly fat and fat around your organs, called visceral fat, tends to accumulate. Visceral fat is particularly stubborn because it's highly sensitive to insulin. So when insulin stays elevated, this type of fat is the first to appear and the last to go. Even if you're exercising or cutting calories, your body can be in a fat storage mode that makes weight loss feel like an uphill battle. Imagine your metabolism as a fire. When insulin is balanced, fuel from your food burns steadily, and stored fat can be used for energy when needed. But when insulin is constantly high, it's like pouring water on the fire. The flames get dampened, and fat that should be burning just sits there. Your body can't access the stored fat efficiently, which slows down metabolism, reduces energy levels, and even affects your hunger signals, making you crave more food and sugar to try to feed your cells. Another way to picture it is like a bank account. Stored fat is like money in your savings account. Normally, when your body needs energy, it can withdraw from that account. But when insulin is high, the bank locks your account. You can't withdraw, and the savings just sit there, growing interest in the form of stubborn fat deposits. Your body thinks it's protecting you from starvation, but in reality, it's keeping the fat trapped exactly where you don't want it. What makes insulin resistance tricky is that it develops slowly. You might not notice obvious symptoms at first. Some people gain weight around their midsection, experience fatigue, have sugar cravings, or feel bloated frequently. Others might see no signs until it's more advanced, which is why understanding this process is so important. Recognizing insulin resistance early allows you to make changes that restore balance before it significantly impacts your metabolism and overall health. The good news is that insulin resistance isn't permanent. Through lifestyle adjustments like mindful eating, balancing macronutrients, improving sleep, managing stress, and incorporating physical activity, your cells can become more receptive to insulin again. As insulin sensitivity improves, your body can finally access the stored fat. Metabolism speeds up, energy levels rise, and those stubborn belly fat deposits start to shrink. By understanding how insulin resistance traps fat and slows metabolism, it becomes clear why typical diet and exercise strategies sometimes fail. It's not about willpower or eating less, it's about addressing the hormonal signals that control whether your body stores or burns fat. Once you target insulin, you're no longer fighting against your own biology, and fat loss becomes much more achievable. Many people believe that strict diets, fasting, or cutting calories dramatically are the ultimate solutions for losing belly fat. You've probably tried some version of keto, intermittent fasting, or low-calorie diets, and while they might give temporary results, the fat often comes back or refuses to leave in the first place. The reason isn't a lack of discipline. It's that these approaches often ignore one of the most important factors in fat loss: insulin balance. When insulin levels remain elevated, your body is in a constant fat storage state, which means even if you're eating fewer calories or skipping meals, your metabolism is still programmed to hold onto fat. Imagine trying to empty a locked treasure chest. No matter how much effort you put into opening it, if the lock isn't addressed, you can't access what's inside. Similarly, high insulin signals your body to keep fat trapped, particularly in the belly and around organs. Dieting alone doesn't unlock that lock, it only restricts the fuel your body needs, which can lead to fatigue, hunger, and eventually giving up on the plan entirely. Take keto, for example. It's designed to lower carbohydrate intake, so your body switches to burning fat. While this works for some, it doesn't automatically fix insulin resistance. If your insulin levels are chronically high due to years of imbalanced blood sugar, hormonal disruptions, or stress, your body may struggle to enter a true fat burning state. You might see small changes in weight initially, but stubborn belly fat often remains. The same goes for intermittent fasting or extreme calorie restriction. These strategies can reduce calories temporarily, but they don't address the underlying hormonal signal keeping fat stored. Your body is essentially being asked to burn fat while receiving signals to hold onto it, which creates frustration and plateaus. Another challenge is that restrictive diets often increase stress on the body. Stress raises cortisol, another hormone that can interfere with insulin and promote fat storage, especially around the abdomen. So even when you're disciplined about eating less or fasting, the combination of high insulin and stress hormones tells your body to hang onto fat rather than release it. This is why many people who are doing everything right still feel stuck, seeing minimal changes despite their hard work. It's also important to understand that not all calories are equal when it comes to hormonal response. Eating foods that spike blood sugar rapidly can cause insulin surges, which counteracts fat burning efforts. Simply reducing the number of calories without considering how those foods affect insulin can backfire. You might lose weight in other areas, but never touch the stubborn belly fat, which is most sensitive to insulin signals. Addressing insulin imbalance isn't about eliminating food groups or following extreme routines. It's about retraining your body to respond to insulin properly. When insulin sensitivity improves, your body finally gets the signal that it can safely release stored fat. Metabolism speeds up, energy stabilizes, and fat that once seemed impossible to lose starts to shrink. This is why focusing solely on diet or fasting without considering insulin often fails. You're essentially trying to force fat loss while the underlying mechanism keeping fat trapped remains unchanged. The takeaway is that sustainable fat loss requires understanding how insulin interacts with your metabolism. Diet alone, even if strict or trendy, is rarely enough if insulin resistance isn't addressed. The most effective approach combines mindful food choices, lifestyle habits, and routines that help regulate insulin, allowing your body to transition from a fat storage state into a fat burning state naturally. Once insulin is balanced, the body can access stored energy efficiently, and those frustrating belly fat deposits begin to decrease in a way that feels consistent and sustainable. Sometimes your body is trying to tell you something, but the signals are easy to overlook. One of the most common ways your body communicates that insulin isn't balanced is through persistent belly fat. You might notice that even when you're eating well and exercising, the fat around your midsection doesn't budge. This isn't about willpower, it's about hormones. Fat stored around your belly and organs, called visceral fat, is particularly sensitive to insulin. When insulin levels stay elevated, your body holds onto this fat as if it's protecting you from a perceived danger, even though the danger isn't real. Another common sign is energy crashes throughout the day. You might wake up feeling okay, but a few hours after breakfast, you hit a wall. Suddenly, you're craving something sweet or carb, heavy just to keep going. These crashes happen because your cells aren't efficiently absorbing glucose due to insulin resistance. Your blood sugar spikes after a meal, then plummets, leaving you tired, irritable, and reaching for quick sources of energy. Over time, these fluctuations make it difficult to maintain consistent energy and can make fat loss feel impossible. Sugar cravings are another red flag. If you constantly feel the need for chocolate, candy, soda, or bread, it's your body signaling that it's struggling to regulate blood sugar. These cravings are more than just habit or lack of self-control. They are hormonal. High insulin can actually drive these cravings because your body is trying to get glucose into the cells that aren't absorbing it efficiently. This cycle reinforces fat storage, particularly in the belly, and can make dieting frustrating. Difficulty losing weight despite consistent efforts is perhaps the most obvious sign. You might be exercising, reducing calories, or even following trendy diets, yet the scale barely moves, or you lose weight in other areas but not around your midsection. This selective fat retention happens because insulin is still signaling your body to store fat in the areas that are most sensitive to it, like your abdomen and organs. It's not that your efforts are ineffective, they're just working against a hormonal backdrop that keeps fat trapped. Other subtle signs can include bloating, frequent hunger, or waking up feeling unrefreshed even after a full night of sleep. These patterns are all connected to how insulin affects metabolism and energy regulation. Your body is essentially trying to compensate for cells that aren't responding well to insulin, and those compensations can show up as everyday frustrations that feel like part of life rather than a hormone imbalance. Recognizing these signs is the first step in understanding why fat loss may be so stubborn. When you start to see a pattern, persistent belly fat, energy swings, sugar cravings, or weight loss plateaus, You can begin addressing the underlying cause rather than just the symptoms. Small, targeted changes that improve insulin sensitivity can help your body release stored fat, stabilize energy, and reduce cravings. This approach is about working with your body instead of fighting it. By noticing these signals in your own life, you gain insight into what might be holding your fat loss back. It's not a matter of trying harder, it's about understanding the biology behind stubborn fat and taking steps to restore balance. Once you learn to listen to your body and recognize the patterns linked to insulin imbalance, you can start making changes that truly support fat, burning, and overall health. Restoring insulin sensitivity isn't about drastic measures or complicated routines. It's about small, consistent habits that support your body's natural rhythm. One of the most powerful tools is meal timing. Spacing out your meals and avoiding constant snacking gives your insulin levels a chance to drop between eating, which signals your body that it can safely access stored fat. Think of it like giving your metabolism a breathing space. Eating constantly keeps insulin elevated and tells your body to store rather than burn fat, so even small adjustments, like waiting a few hours between meals, can make a noticeable difference over time. The foods you pair together also matter. Combining protein, fiber, and healthy fats with carbohydrates slows down the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream, preventing insulin spikes. For example, instead of just eating toast or a sugary cereal, add eggs, avocado, or some nuts. These pairings help stabilize blood sugar, keep energy steady, and reduce cravings. Over time, consistently choosing these combinations helps retrain your body to respond to insulin more efficiently. Light movement throughout the day is another simple but highly effective strategy. You don't need to run marathons or spend hours in the gym. Walking after meals, stretching, or doing a few bodyweight exercises can improve insulin sensitivity by helping your muscles use glucose for energy. These small bouts of activity act like a reset button for your body, signaling that energy is being used and allowing insulin levels to come down naturally. Even 5 to 10 minutes of walking after a meal can help your body shift into fat burning mode. Stress management is equally important because chronic stress elevates cortisol, a hormone that interferes with insulin and promotes fat storage, particularly around the belly. Simple practices like deep breathing, meditation, journaling, or spending time in nature can lower stress and indirectly support insulin regulation. Reducing stress isn't just about relaxation. It's a crucial part of signaling to your body that it's safe to release stored fat. Sleep also plays a significant role. Poor sleep disrupts insulin and other hormones, making it harder for your body to access stored fat. Aiming for consistent, restorative sleep each night helps reset insulin, improve metabolism, and support overall energy. Small steps like keeping a regular bedtime, reducing screen time before bed, or creating a calming bedtime routine can make a significant difference over time. Hydration and mindful eating habits further support insulin sensitivity. Drinking water, eating slowly, and tuning into hunger signals helps prevent overconsumption and reduces blood sugar spikes. When you combine these habits, meal timing, food pairings, light movement, stress management, and quality sleep, they create a synergy that gradually retrains your body. Over weeks and months, insulin sensitivity improves, metabolism accelerates, cravings diminish, and your body starts accessing stored fat more efficiently. The beauty of this approach is that it doesn't rely on extreme dieting, fasting, or complicated programs. It's about listening to your body, making intentional choices, and giving your system the support it needs to function optimally. These small, consistent actions compound over time, turning your body into a fat-burning machine without feeling like a punishment or struggle. When you focus on habits that naturally reset insulin, the changes are sustainable, Your energy stabilizes, hunger becomes more manageable, and stubborn belly fat gradually decreases. By supporting your body with these daily strategies, you create an environment where fat loss is not forced, but becomes the natural outcome of balanced insulin and healthy metabolism. How and when you eat can have a bigger impact on fat loss than simply counting calories. One of the most effective ways to support insulin balance is through meal timing. Eating at consistent intervals gives your insulin levels a chance to rise and fall naturally, which signals your body to use stored fat for energy between meals. Constant grazing or snacking keeps insulin elevated and tells your body to store fat, particularly in the belly, so creating predictable gaps between meals, whether 3 structured meals or 2 meals and a snack, and make a significant difference over time. The composition of each meal also matters. Pairing protein with healthy fats and low glycemic carbohydrates slows the absorption of glucose into your bloodstream, preventing sharp insulin spikes that trigger fat storage. For instance, instead of having oatmeal or toast alone, add eggs, nuts, or avocado. This combination provides a slower, steadier release of energy that keeps you fuller longer and stabilizes blood sugar. The goal is to create meals that balance energy, reduce cravings, and give your body the signal that it can safely access stored fat. Breakfast is an important place to start. Many people grab a quick carb, heavy meal, like a bagel or cereal, which can spike insulin first thing in the morning. Instead, try incorporating a protein source such as eggs, Greek yogurt, or a protein smoothie paired with fiber-rich vegetables or berries and some healthy fats like nuts or seeds. This approach not only helps stabilize insulin, but also sets the tone for the rest of the day, reducing mid-morning crashes and sugar cravings. Lunch and dinner can follow the same principle. Include lean proteins like chicken, fish, or legumes, paired with non-starchy vegetables and a small portion of low glycemic carbs like quinoa, sweet potato, or lentils. Add a source of healthy fat like olive oil, avocado, or a handful of nuts. This combination slows digestion, keeps blood sugar steady, and prevents the post-meal insulin spikes that make fat stubborn and slow metabolism. Snacks, if needed, should also be strategic. A handful of almonds with a piece of fruit or a boiled egg with vegetables can help maintain energy without triggering large insulin surges. The key is to avoid quick, digesting sugars that spike insulin and instead focus on nutrient-dense combinations that provide sustained fuel. Another useful approach is to pay attention to the order in which you eat. Eating fiber and protein first, followed by carbohydrates, can blunt the blood sugar response and reduce insulin spikes. This simple adjustment can have a measurable impact on how your body stores and burns fat. Over time, consistent meal structuring trains your body to respond more efficiently to insulin, allowing stored fat to be released naturally. Hydration throughout the day also supports insulin function. Drinking water before and during meals can help digestion, support metabolism, and prevent overconsumption. Mindful eating, taking the time to chew and savor your meals, helps regulate hunger hormones and gives your body the cues it needs to process energy effectively. The cumulative effect of these small, practical adjustments is powerful. By focusing on meal timing, combining protein, healthy fats, and low glycemic carbs, and paying attention to portion and order, your body is signaled that it's safe to release stored fat. Energy levels stabilize, cravings diminish, and metabolism gradually shifts into a more efficient fat burning mode. These strategies are sustainable because they work with your body's natural rhythms rather than against them, creating a foundation for lasting fat loss without extreme dieting or restriction. When you consistently apply these principles, insulin starts to behave the way it's meant to. Metabolism speeds up, and the stubborn belly fat that once seemed impossible to lose begins to respond. Meal timing and food combinations aren't just tips. They're tools that directly support your body's ability to burn fat and maintain balance over the long term. Creating a sustainable lifestyle that keeps insulin balanced isn't about following strict rules or extreme diets. It's about building small, realistic habits that you can maintain over time. One of the most important foundations is consistency. Your body responds best when it knows what to expect, so sticking to predictable meal timing, balanced meals, and regular movement patterns helps maintain insulin sensitivity and prevents fat storage from rebounding. Instead of trying to overhaul everything at once, focus on gradual adjustments that fit into your daily life. A practical approach starts with meals. Incorporate proteins, healthy fats, and fiber-rich, low-glycemic carbohydrates at every eating occasion. Pay attention to portion sizes, but avoid extreme restriction. Your goal is to fuel your body adequately while preventing sharp insulin spikes. Combining these foods in a way that feels natural and satisfying helps stabilize blood sugar, reduces cravings, and supports fat burning over time. It also trains your metabolism to function efficiently without feeling deprived. Movement is another key component, but it doesn't require intense workouts or hours in the gym. Regular activity, walking after meals, stretching, light resistance exercises, or even household movement, keeps muscles active, improves insulin sensitivity, and signals your body that it can safely use stored energy. Consistency matters more than intensity. A few minutes of daily movement is more effective long-term than sporadic bursts of extreme exercise that feel unsustainable. Stress management and quality sleep are equally essential. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, which interferes with insulin and promotes fat storage, while poor sleep disrupts metabolism and hunger signals. Developing simple routines such as journaling, meditation, deep breathing, or calming bedtime rituals can make a substantial difference. Prioritizing 7-9 hours of restful sleep per night supports hormone balance, energy levels, and your body's natural ability to release stored fat. Hydration and mindful eating further reinforce balance. Drinking water consistently, eating slowly, and tuning into hunger and fullness cues helps prevent overeating and blood sugar spikes. These habits reinforce a respectful, responsive relationship with your body that encourages fat loss naturally rather than forcing it. Over time, these daily actions compound, creating a metabolic environment where insulin is balanced and fat is used efficiently for energy. Sustainability comes from flexibility and personalization. Life is unpredictable, and the best plan is one that adapts to your schedule and preferences. Allow yourself occasional indulgences without guilt, and focus on returning to your habits rather than striving for perfection. The goal is not temporary weight loss but long-term metabolic health, stable energy, and a body that responds efficiently to food and activity. By combining predictable meal patterns, balanced nutrition, regular movement, stress management, sleep, and mindful practices, you establish a lifestyle that supports insulin balance naturally. Over weeks and months, these habits reinforce each other, reducing stubborn belly fat, improving energy, and preventing the rebound that often follows extreme diets. This approach prioritizes consistency, patience, and respect for your body's signals. Long-term success isn't about quick fixes or rigid routines. It's about creating an environment where your metabolism can function optimally and fat can be released safely and sustainably. When you focus on practical, realistic actions that fit into your daily life, you maintain insulin sensitivity, support metabolic health, and enjoy the benefits of steady fat loss, improved energy, and reduced cravings. These changes become second nature, forming a foundation for a healthy, balanced life that doesn't rely on temporary restrictions or unsustainable diets.